Freelancing Wali, and I'm 11 years old, and I'm a level 1 student at Rehan's Foreign Academy. So, as you all know, that always we do an interview with a foreigner. So today we are going to do an interview. So today we have with us a very special guest, and his name is Jesse. So he's an inspired podcaster and entrepreneur who has dedicated the last 4 years to helping people break free from fear. So today we are going to do an interview with him. So can you please introduce yourself first?
Oh, you broke up there a little bit, but I think you asked me to introduce myself, so that's what I'm going to do. So, my name is Jesse. I am the host of Undiscovered Entrepreneur Get Across the Start Line. Been doing that, like you said, for 4 years. I talk to brand new entrepreneurs that are just getting started in their entrepreneur adventure, talking about their goals, their struggles, their accomplishments, and then I'll follow up with them 6 months later to see if they've actually accomplished those goals. And that's one of the things I like to do with that. I also talk about something called the 4 hurdles of stop, which is imposter syndrome, perfectionism, failure, and fear, and how those things stop us from getting across the start line in our entrepreneur adventure.
Okay, so that's amazing. So pretty cool. So now I'm gonna ask you questions. So first of all, my first question from you is that what's one powerful takeaway you want everyone listening to remember?
That we have to overcome a lot of the 4 hurdles of stop. The 4 hurdles of stop being perfectionism, imposter syndrome, failure, and fear, and how we can use those as tools instead of being something afraid of to be able to continue on in our entrepreneur adventure. So it's really important that we understand that these things, even though they're hard to get over, they're the things that we need to get over to be able to get to something that's great on the other side. So even though we face these problems, we face these fears, on the other side of those fears is the thing that we're trying to get to, the thing that we're trying to accomplish. Our goals are all on the other side of these particular fears.
Oh, that's great. Amazing. Now my next question with you is what inspired you to start podcasting?
So my podcasting actually started as a failure. Yeah, I wanted to be a karaoke DJ and a music DJ. That was going to be my first entrepreneur adventure. But I had no money, I had no gear, I had no equipment, I didn't even have a laptop or camera or nothing. So I decided to start a GoFundMe page, a crowdfunding page, and I thought people would just give me money. And that obviously didn't happen. I think I only made a couple $100 in a couple months, and that was my mom helping me out, like moms usually do, to make sure I felt good about what I was doing. So in that failure, I decided, okay, why did it not work? Why did this fail? Instead of throwing my hands up in the air and saying, okay, I'm not meant for this, something inside me said, ask why instead. So I started researching crowdfunding and how to properly have a crowdfund. And in that research, I found podcasting. And I was told that if you podcast and you talk about something you really love, people will follow you. And then after that, then do a crowdfund with the people that are willing to help you. So I put the karaoke thing aside for a little bit. I still want to do it. I still want to be a karaoke DJ and a music DJ, but I put that aside for now and started podcasting and realized that I loved podcasting so much that I just kept going with the podcasting, helping other people start businesses, uh, helping pe- uh, helping people understand about the 4 hurdles of stop, and it just became a passion. And now I've been doing it for over 4 years, and it's been amazing ever since I started. From now, every person I've talked to has an amazing story to tell. You're muted, sweetie. I'm sorry. Ooh, I'm still not getting any sound from you. And looks like she might be. Looks like we might be frozen there. So I'm going to keep going. And oh, here. Oh, okay. Hmm.
Yeah, so my question is,
Okay, I got you now.
so my question is, how did your entrepreneur journey begin?
So it began. Oh well, heck, it started a long time ago. I think I was 10 at the first time I actually had my first taste of entrepreneurship. I was at a flea market, and basically I had a there's a bunch of people in one spot selling stuff. My dad gave me some money and said, "Okay, go buy stuff." So I took the money with me, and I went out and bought some stuff, and I came back to my dad, and I had two armfuls full of just all kinds of different stuff, and still had $5 left. So that told me one of two things: either I was really good at negotiating, or I was really cute and people were just giving me stuff. So I had this stuff, and I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do with it all? So I decided to have a yard sale. So I put a blanket out on my front lawn, put all the stuff on the blanket, and put up signs saying I was having a yard sale. And people came in and bought all the stuff. I ended up with, with a bunch of money, and all my stuff was gone. And I thought that was fantastic because I was able to buy whatever it is I decided to buy when I was 10. So from there, when I got into schooling and I started doing like candy bar sales and magazine sales and all that stuff, I was always kind of on the top of the sales. So I knew that I had a knack for it. After I got out of high school, I decided to become a car salesman. I was a car salesman for over 16 years. So in that experience in selling cars, I learned how to talk to people, how to find their pain points, and how to find their struggles, and how to match them up with a product that would fill those needs. And I've always had a gift for talking to people. I love talking to people. So I kind of mishmashed all that together to where I am today with my podcast. And but that's where it started along, geez, 10 years when I was 10 years old. So that was my first real taste of my entrepreneur adventure.
Oh wow, your story was so good. Now my next question is, what were your biggest fears when starting out?
So I think my biggest fear starting out was if anybody was going to take me seriously or not. As I was learning and growing, a lot of the people around me said I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't smart enough, or I didn't have any degrees, or I didn't really have what it took to actually do anything. So I had a really rough time with imposter syndrome, which is one of the hurdles of stop I talk about, and the probably the biggest thing I talk about in my podcast is imposter syndrome. So I was afraid that nobody would take me seriously. I was afraid that nobody would listen to me, understand me, or trust me in what I was saying because I'm just me. I'm just a guy. I'm just somebody that's just trying to get a point across. So I had to overcome that fear. I had to overcome that imposter syndrome by changing my thoughts about that and changing the ownership of imposter syndrome, because I would always say I have imposter syndrome or it's my imposter syndrome. So instead of saying I or my or owning something so negative, we need to change those words into something else. That way you don't own something so negative. And that was one of my biggest fears, and accomplishing getting over those fears by changing my mindset and how I owned imposter syndrome. Now I still get imposter syndrome. It happens. It happens a lot. It's part of the human process. But if we find ways to get over that, we'll find greatness. We'll find people that will support us. We'll find people that understand what you're trying to accomplish. So my biggest fear was getting over imposter syndrome, but uh, it was amazing to be able to get over that.
Oh, that's great. Now my next question is, did you ever think of quitting?
Thinking about quitting, yes. I think that does cross our mind as entrepreneurs because there are times that get tough. Sometimes it gets difficult for us to go through the experiences that we go through on a daily basis. And quitting does come across our minds. Or either if you're a new entrepreneur, if you're a very seasoned entrepreneur, quitting does come across our minds. But it's what we do, it's what we think about after that thought. Do we actually take action on that and actually quit? No, we don't, because we want to see where this takes us next. Instead of thinking about quitting, we think about, well, why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? I mean, we really got to think about our why when we think about quitting. If we can think about that, we can get past that I quit phase to I'm going to keep going phase. It's all about our why and our mindset on how we take that thought, and not so much as get it out of our head, because it's going to happen. It happens to anybody and everybody that does anything. But it's what we do after that thought is what makes us who we are. It makes us either quitters, or it makes us amazing.
Okay, so that's great. Now my next question is that, who has been your biggest inspiration?
So the biggest inspiration person that I actually had on my podcast about 3 or 4 months ago. His name is Pat Flynn. Pat Flynn is a podcaster. He's an entrepreneur, and he's the one that actually taught me how to podcast through his free YouTube videos and some free classes he had and some downloads that he had. He was the one that actually not only inspired me to podcast, but inspired me to continue on with podcasting, even when it got hard. Um, Watching his podcast episodes kept me going, that I could accomplish what I want to accomplish, because he was able to do it too. And if he can do it, I certainly can do it. So it kept me going. And then finally, one day, I realized that I have an opportunity to have him on my podcast, and I sat down and had an actual conversation with him. Not a conversation like in a YouTube video in the comments, or like a webinar or anything like that. He sat down with me for an hour, and we had a great conversation on my podcast. And that even shows me how awesome somebody can be, even though they're very accomplished. They're still human, and they will still sit down and talk to you like a human, and keep you moving and motivated. So that's the way we need to do it. No matter how big we get, we still need to understand that we all are human, and we still need to talk to each other in a human being way. Don't let it get over your head. You're still a person, and that's the way I like to keep it.
Okay, this is so good. So now my next question with you is that what was your childhood dream?
Not what I'm doing now. Believe it or not, my childhood dream was to be an airline pilot and fly planes. I always wanted to fly and learn how to fly. I don't know why. I love the idea of being up in the air and going anywhere I wanted to in an airplane. So, um, did I ever do anything along those lines? I went up and I piloted a glider once, but that's pretty much it. It wasn't to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know better at the time until I got to about 10. Um, but after 10, when I had that experience I was talking about earlier, I knew from then on I wanted to do something in business. I wanted to make a difference doing what I liked doing, and that was it. So up until before 10, I wanted to be airline pilot, and after 10, I wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Oh, that's great, amazing. So we are going to another interview. So welcome everybody. We will see in our next interview with another special guest. And thank you so much for your time.